Hey guys, today we're playing Star Wars Racer Revenge on the PlayStation 2. This was the sequel to Star Wars. I believe it was called Episode 1 Racer, but this one's just called Racer. Maybe it was just called Racer, and that was available on the Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, and PC. And Game Boy Color, ironically enough, but that was like an overhead version. So this is the sequel. This came out right before Episode 2 did. So instead of a little kid Anakin, you play as the I don't know, like the Padawan Anakin, I guess is what you would call it, unless there's a stage that he was higher. I don't know. I love Star Wars, but I'm not the hugest Star Wars nerd when it comes to facts or whatever. I don't know everything. But I don't know how much of this game is new, if all of it's new, or it's revisiting the same tracks, because Racer never came out on PlayStation 1, I guess due to technological issues or whatever, because they were programming it and developing it. I saw a few screenshots of it a long time ago. They look like garbage, by the way, because it didn't have smoothing. So like when you like have that one view where the two engines are together and you see that electric stream that's holding them to the bolt or whatever you want to call it, that's holding the two engines together, it looked like a bunch of blue cubes and stuff. It looked pretty bad. This game isn't gonna blow your mind. I actually think the Dreamcast version of this, of the prequel to this Racer, might actually look better than this. This is a early PlayStation game and suffers from that kind of PlayStation 2 blurry look that 3 also suffered from too in a lot of games. But they fixed it on both systems, where you didn't see it much as time goes on. I don't know what it is about Sony's system. Luckily for the PlayStation 4, that no longer seems to be an issue, but I think a lot of PlayStation 2 and early PlayStation 3 games had this kind of blurry look to it. I would go as far as say this looks probably on par with the Nintendo 64 version if it had the 4 gig RAM, like, was it the 4 gig RAM pack that you put into the expansion slot that made games look better. For some reason, a lot of Nintendo 64 owners don't even know about that yet. Let me look at this. Acceleration, camera presets, resets, steering, left, right. That sounds simple enough. What's advanced? We'll just go to this. Could have sworn there was like a, maybe it's the rotation. I gotta rotate it to look. Alright, yeah, here we go. Repair, power slide, and boost. Yeah, that's what I was wondering what it was. As you can tell, I haven't played a lot of these games recently or whatever. I'm kind of glued to the PlayStation 3, 360, and PS4. It doesn't mean I don't appreciate old games. It's just what I've been playing right now. And I happen to get a majority of these games at either pawn shops, dirt cheap, or Goodwill, with the intentions of making a video of them at some point. When I did, I was a huge fan of the first game, and this game is just as fun. It's just not going to blow your mind graphic-wise, and I don't know what's new versus old. I don't know if everything's new, like, because some of the settings are in the first game, but I don't know if the track layout's different. We'll play as Anakin. I believe you can upgrade these things. We'll look at all the different pod racers. One thing that most people that don't like Episode 1, I'll admit that there was a few good things, and those things were actually seeing the Jedi's actually really agile badasses versus like the slower sword fights in Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, and Return of the Jedi, are what you would consider the original trilogy. I don't know if some of these aliens are new. You can kind of tell who they are just by seeing their silhouette. So there's some stuff you can unlock, and I believe you can higher the stats as you go on. I know this game gets ridiculously fast at later tracks and gets pretty hard, but it's pretty fun. I think this game's a little a little bit more difficult than the first game, but I haven't played the first game in a long time. Like I said, I don't know what's new versus what's old in this, because I think instead of calling it Part 2 Revenge, I have a feeling that this was making up, saying, sorry, you didn't get it on PlayStation 1, here's their PlayStation 2 version. So I don't know if this is more of an upgraded version. Story-wise, it takes place after Racer, even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why Anakin would go back during his Jedi training to pod race, but we'll use the suspension of disbelief. But anyway, as I was saying, the pod people admit that the pod races are cool. I looked at the control scheme. Now I don't know how to fucking start the thing. So we're already off to a bad start. Why don't we restart the race? Thank goodness we didn't have to wait for a load screen. I'm not a huge fan of this view. It appears that I changed the controls a little bit. There's numbers there, but since it's a Star Wars universe, I don't know what they measure by. But anyway, the pod races were cool. The Agile Jedis were cool. That like chopped all the droids in pieces, and they're like backflipping, actually using their force powers a lot more. And Darth Maul was a pretty cool villain, although he was short-lived. Spoiler alert. Darth Maul dies at the end of episode 1. Sorry if I crushed your viewing experience if you never saw episode 1 before, but I figured if you haven't seen it by now, you're either boycotting it or you have like a stack of bricks with TV written in chalk on it, and it doesn't actually function as real TV, so I don't know what to tell you, but I just spoiled episode 1 for you. Sorry. I actually really don't give a shit, but I'm trying to be nice. Even though I willingly spoiled it. I knew what I was doing. Yeah, I think the controls changed a little bit. I always like this view for some reason. But yeah, this is the view I was talking about. I saw a screenshot of the PS1 version with this view, and it looked absolutely atrocious. The polygons might be a little bit more detailed than the original game. It's not as blurry as I thought it was. As I remember anyway. It's not crystal clear like some other games, but it works fine. I'm playing on my older flat screen too. That might be the case. It looks a little bit better. This TV's on its way out. Once it goes out, hopefully I'll have enough money to get a new TV. I'll at least have an excuse instead of just being OCD. But one thing I do like about this TV is it's able to play lower resolution games, as when you get newer TVs like the one I have, it has trouble displaying like PlayStation 1 games or anything below that generation. So hopefully whatever replaces this TV, if it's on its way out, I don't know how long it'll last. It has some burn-in, which is uncommon for these type of TVs. Unless they're like old or whatever. That race was easy, even though I didn't know what the controls were. Last time I played this, I must have like was just trying to get it to work or something, because I remember it being more difficult than that, unless I was just lucky. Maybe somehow my skills have improved since then. I don't know. But there's definitely a sense of speed, and with Ben Burtt, I think he was the sound designer of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, probably amongst other films. He's retired, but whenever they seem to come out with like a new Star Wars, or when they came out with the new Indiana Jones movie, he seems to come out of retirement because he doesn't want anybody else to do the sound effects. I don't know if he's going to do episode 7, but I wouldn't be surprised if he came out of retirement for that. But his sound effects are always incredible. They're always exaggerated and stuff, and that really helps with the game. So me playing this with the sound down isn't really helping the experience, and having the John Williams soundtrack play every once in a while. It doesn't play every once in a while is it makes the game a lot better, I think. So you can ignore the part. That was me buying myself time to figure out what I was actually going to say. Apparently Sabol was still alive. I figured somebody would shank that little shit by now, since he was kind of an asshole. But yeah, I think back, maybe the reason why they fought droids and stuff in the prequel trilogy is maybe because if they did that with stormtroopers, it would be pretty violent. I'd say like the lightsaber cauterizes the people so there's no blood, but if you watch A New Hope episode 4, or to some of you, the original Star Wars movie, when Obi-Wan Kenobi cuts that guy's arm off in the cantina scene, there is blood, but it seems like later on, like the lightsaber's cauterized like things. You can kind of tell, you can kind of tell like in every movie how they kind of tinkered with stuff, because I was watching the making of it, and it's true. If you watch the first Star Wars movie, this looks like the same track. I must have, it didn't automatically switch. Oh well, we'll play it again just in case you missed anything. No, we won't play it again. I won't put you through all that. Alright, I hope that maybe it was a subtly different track. I don't know. Subtly a real word? Who knows? Like, my train of thought, like, is all over the place when I play these games. Yes, I want to play as him. I just don't want to play as the same on the same track. My speech is very poor when I'm talking on these videos. So, like, if I come off as a moron, I promise you I'm not, but isn't that what a moron would say? So I really can't win you over by saying that, but my speech and my vocabulary is a lot better when I'm not trying to play a game and talk to you guys at the same time. And I'm sure you guys are wondering, well, why the fuck did you go into making videos? Because I like it, you know? I think me fucking up these videos somehow has become part of my channel's charm. I might not have over 1 million subscribers because of that, probably amongst other things, but you know, the subscribers I do have I really appreciate, and I appreciate that they appreciate that this channel isn't perfect, so you know, it's whatever. It's funny, I played the same track and I was playing it significantly worse. I forgot what button's power slide. It's not that one. I think it's this one. That's gonna be one expensive repair bill. Unless that's the repair button. Let's boost. You can boost, but your engines can overheat. Alright, it's a little disorienting. I absolutely do not remember like what tracks are in the last game, so you know. I do wish I remember what Power Slide was. That seems to be it. Though I'm not going as fast as I would like to, so I don't know. I'm pretty much fucked in this level. All of a sudden, like, the racers seem to got like a testosterone boost or something. I don't understand why my pod racer is going so slow, but I should probably restart this because I don't know what's happening. Again, this is another game that came with a manual I decided not to read. Sometimes manuals do help. Manuals are unfortunately a thing of the past. Sometimes it'll be like, go to this website. I wonder what happened while I was going so slow.
He is just determined to win this one. Get out of my way.
Maybe there's an AI glitch because they definitely weren't this freaking aggressive before.
Oh, look at that abuse.
And then my freaking piece of shit pod racer wouldn't run that fast anymore. I don't know what happened. There we are, we're in first place now. Let's see how long that lasts. Man, they're being brutal. The level design for the tracks is pretty cool, actually. It might be in my head, but I do think the Dreamcast version of 1 just seemed a little bit sharper, but it might be in my head. I think this has more detail, though, in the actual ships. I gotta repair. I don't know what the repair button is. I think I'm holding it. I think the repair button slows you down, though.
For all your collision and repair needs, check out Watto's Repair Bay. Stay out of my way.
I don't know what's happening. Somehow the game, I guess, glitched or whatever, or maybe it's supposed to do that, but I think I was standing upright. Now I'm in the last position, which isn't really all that great. I'm getting stuck in
That's gonna be one expensive repair.
this little tube. So this is what a hamster feels like when it's in one of those stupid little tube things that people buy, like their Legos, and make this huge set.
Oh, and the miso takes a huge...
Although as a kid, when I had a hamster, I wanted them where you get all those colored tubes and you can put them together any way you want. You basically make an amusement park for your hamster, and your hamster, I'm sure, is thrilled. Now I think I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, there we go. Yep, I'm not getting out of 8th place. It's not happening. At least I'm trying. you know, even though I gave up the first time, so that point probably doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, I was talking about that maybe they used droids. I'm sure there was other reasons, but I imagine that droids would be more favorable than the way the Jedis were cutting the droids. Like with if they did that with stormtroopers, it would be pretty brutal, and I don't think they could have kept their PG rating. They might have gotten an R even if it cauterized them, so I don't know. And I noticed they avoided it in games. I played a demo of The Force Unleashed 2, and it seemed like you could cut the stormtroopers up more than you could in the actual final release. I mean, sometimes you can cut their arms off and stuff, maybe their head, I can't remember, but I just remember it happening more frequently in the demo and being kind of disappointed, because that was, sadly, with my gruesome ass, one of my favorite things when I played the demo of the sequel. I mean, I really liked the first one. I beat it. I mean, there are some parts that were probably less than favorable I can get into, like the quick time events and the button mashing, and sometimes there's some cheap shots here and there, but overall it was a great game and I really enjoyed it. And the sequel's good, but a lot shorter, and I don't think it's canon. Although now that Disney owns the franchise, I don't think anything's canon anymore except for the movies and Disney's branded comic books or whatever that are made by Marvel, because Disney owns Marvel, if you didn't know. That's why Marvel's making the comics again. Dark Horse used to make them. When the Star Wars movie originally came out, Marvel actually made the original Star Wars comic books. There's a loser. Alright, this is Star Wars Episode Racer Revenge, a great sci-fi racing game. Of course, if you enjoyed the pod racing scene in Episode 1, I'm sure you'll enjoy this. It's fun. I'm probably not the best person to demonstrate this game, but I'd recommend it if you like Star Wars and racing games and want something beside driving in a car to race with. Anyway, sorry my commentary was all over the place, but anyway, before I end this video, I just wanted to say that according to George Lucas, Star Wars Force Unleashed was canon, and I don't know the second one was. That's what I was saying before I started to end the video. I should have finished what I was saying, but like I said, my videos are all over the place. I guess that's part of the charm. I think that's why my longtime subscribers have stayed, I guess, because most of my subscribers came around like the same time, and the numbers haven't drastically changed, because sometimes you get like fake accounts and stuff like that of people that just subscribe to you, so you subscribe to them, and once they see they didn't get their way, and they unsubscribe, whatever. Life's a bitch. But I'm happy with the subs I have anyway. But yeah, anyway, sorry for my video being all over the place. But this is Star Wars Episode Racer Revenge. As far as I know, it's only on PlayStation 2. Now, if you don't have a PlayStation 2 and you have a Nintendo 64, which I highly recommend playing with the 4 gig RAM pack, which I'm sure you could find fairly cheap. I don't think that they're rare. I could be wrong, but it does really help with the graphics with that. And if you like the Rogue Squadron games, it helps with that. And it's required for certain games like the full game of Perfect Dark and Donkey Kong. Was it Donkey Kong Country 64 or Donkey Kong 64? I don't know. Those are the only ones I could think of. And then there's other games that have high-res options that you can use with the pack. Sometimes it makes the frame rate run slower, but the first one's also available for Nintendo 64, PC, Dreamcast, and I said Game Boy Color, but you know the Game Boy Color can't display like detailed 3D graphics unless it's like some vector-based wired frame thing like they did with with that racing game. The name, I think it was like Hard Driving, I believe the name of the game was. Something like that, or the sequel. I can't remember which one. Actually, the people, Argonaut Software, I believe it was called. I could be mistaken. The same people made Star Fox actually made that, which made Nintendo wanna make Star Fox. Listen to me going all over the fucking place here. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and feel free to leave a comment. I mean, I know some of you guys are regulars who comment, but for the people that have subscribed to the channel and don't ever comment, I'd love to hear from you and get to know who's subscribed and who's not on a more personal level, where I actually get to hear your voice and get a good idea of who you guys are, because that's part of the whole community aspect. But anyway, feel free to leave a comment, positive or negative. Of course, I like the positive comments more. If you choose to leave a negative one, please make sure the criticism is constructive and you're not being disrespectful to me or anyone else on the page or channel, etc. I'm sure you already thought about it, but for whatever reason, if you haven't, if you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe. I love I love it when people subscribe. I love subscribers. I don't know why I felt I need to correct myself there. Man, I'm all over the place today. But yeah, like, I'm sure you thought about it, but I figured I'd remind you. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you guys who have supported the channel as long as you have. I really appreciate it. It makes it even more worth it than selfishly making the channel for myself. Anyway, guys, take care. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.